Kelly, tell me a little bit about yourself and Beautiphi.
So I am a nurse anesthetist, and I started Beautiphi in 2018, and we are a med spa in Rochester, Michigan. We have organically grown into about 7 providers, and we are actually moving into a new location, 3 times larger.
Wow,
which is
congratulations.
exciting.
Yeah.
At the end of the summer. But spun off from that, I started Beautiphi Academy, and at this point, I have trained over 600 other medical professionals and physicians on how to not only start and operate a med spa, but all the hands-on skills, the business skills. So we have this whole academy that's turned into a big program. I've actually trained at least one person in every state.
Wow, what a huge accomplishment.
I know, thank you.
What was your vision behind launching Beautiphi?
So I actually had an injury that kept me from working in the hospital. And I was sitting at home and I really wanted Botox. And I went and received a treatment and I didn't have a good result. And I thought to myself, I have so much education, I can do this. So I started down the rabbit hole of, I want to do this, I want to get trained. And then I kind of got passionate about helping other people that were kind of looking for something different. Anesthesia is actually one of the most stressful jobs behind being a pilot. So most people get burned out pretty quickly. And I would say probably about 90% of who I've trained is an anesthesia provider. And it kind of gives them a different path to go down, but still use all of our technical and hands-on skills. And now they all own their own successful businesses.
Wow. So is it mostly people who are looking for a change in their career or people who are already in the aesthetic industry who are looking to sharpen their skills?
Kind of both. So we have a novice program that kind of starts you from scratch and teaches you how to own the business, all the hands-on skills of the business. And then we have an advanced approach that if someone's in the industry, they can come for different advanced skills, learning about devices, how to incorporate that into your practice. So we've kind of just made little branches depending on what is needed at the time.
Wonderful. And when did you first hear about Rohrer Aesthetics? Was it before you had launched the academy or with your med spa?
It was with the med spa. I work with Mers a lot, and Mers actually introduced me to Rohrer, and I met my rep through there, and I was just kind of fell in love with the technology, and I liked the small company of it and the fact that Mark Rohrer was so involved, and it was owned by someone who actually cared, and I kind of jived with him because the same thing, like I'm super passionate about what I do and I care. Like if I trained you 2 years ago, I'm probably still going to talk to you and, follow up with you and check on things. So we just kind of had similar visions and I just loved that it wasn't a big corporation and they actually cared about our practice.
And so many people, it's interesting, so many people I've spoken to who talk about, reminisce about the early days of Rohrer, mention how hands-on Mark was with the company. Did you experience that as well?
100%.
Yeah, can you share a little bit more about that?
After I think I purchased my second device, he actually came and we went to dinner. Personal cell phone number, if you need anything, call me. And he has really stayed true to that. I have been able to, work with him and his company just so intimately that, down to settings or specific patients and, quickly get responses and help. And, hey, I know you treated that patient last week with what you asked about. How was the result? They truly care about the practices that they work with. And it's helped our success because just the extra time and effort that they put in that I don't receive from other companies.
And dovetailing on that, the support and the relationship you have with other companies, how is your relationship with Rohrer different than the other companies?
I think really it's almost like, it's a family and we're a family. So there is that extra just a little bit of touch that they give. Like I said, the educational part of it, the trainers. I actually just saw my trainer Christina in the lobby when I was coming up here and gave her the biggest hug. I think I met her 3 or 4 years ago. She's still with the company. I think that says a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And so when you're training in your academy, you're training on a variety of different aesthetic devices and technologies and things like that, I assume, right?
Yeah.
What is some of the feedback you've been hearing from some of the people you've trained as it relates to the products from Rohrer Aesthetics? I
think, the fact that, I own a lot of machines, but the fact that we're able to do so many things, people don't even realize. The 2 things that we use the most in our practice are the spectrum laser and the Pixel 8 radio frequency microneedling. and we use them together a lot. So being able to offer different modalities and really specialize, for your skin type versus her skin type versus his skin type, and just be able to we're really big on custom plans, and having a small space right now, having those two machines and being able to do so many things with just those two machines, right? The Spectrum has 5 different, pieces on it. So it's wonderful for new practices that are starting when you're small, you're renting a room, you're renting 500 square feet, and you don't have to buy 7 machines to do 7 different things. You can buy 2 machines that can do 7 different things. So the feedback is wonderful in that regard, because a lot of these people are just starting out and they don't have a big space to put, something that does one thing.
Is there been one or two stories from some of the people that you've trained who have later on either started their own med spa, or perhaps they already had their med spa and they were having continuing education through you? A story or two where they've seen success with one of the Rohrer devices you've trained them on?
I think there's probably over 40, not one or
Oh,
two.
wow. Well, for the sake of this time.
Yeah. So actually, a lot of them are coming with us today, but I think the ability to use these machines to truly help people that have acne scarring or hyperpigmentation, that is just something that really affects their daily life. You can't do that with injectables. You can't do that with anything else you can pick up. Like, you need an energy-based device to do a lot of the skin texture, skin tone type treatments. So, we actually would love to share before and after pictures together and show hey, I used these settings or I did that setting. We have a community within the community of our own, the Beautiphi babes, as we call them, that own the Rohrer devices. And I honestly think there's over 40 people at this point that have successfully brought them into their practice and grown with them.
Wow, that's a huge number. Obviously the company has a lot of different devices that they offer in their portfolio. Is there one or perhaps even two that you really love and gravitate towards?
Yes, definitely the Pixel and the Spectrum. Like I said, there's just so many things that you can do with using them in the same appointment, with stacking, with adding things on. You can do an IPL before you do a Pixel and then do an Erbium on top of that. You could do just a Pixel. You could do a Pixel with an Erbium. You could do a tattoo removal and a Pixel in the same patient. You can do laser hair removal and there's just so many things you can add. Those two pieces, 100% we use all the time.
So Kelly, tell me a little bit about what your experience has been like with some of the trainers that Rohrer has sent over.
So I have had an excellent experience with training. Like I said, Christina has been a godsend to our office as far as, she came, she listened to what we wanted to get out of training and made that training what we wanted it to be, which I thought was phenomenal. You have different clientele, different Fitzpatricks that you normally work with on a daily basis. So for her to kind of customize everything, she helped us put our settings in our machines that we wanted, and just really helping us nail down what we should be putting together, prices to charge, things that you're kind of, when you buy a machine, you're kind of now what do I do, right? So she was really instrumental in guiding us in the right direction. So much so that every time I've bought a device, I have 6 now, she has come.
Wow.
So she's been phenomenal. And I have no complaints. I can say that, having things from different companies and being trained by different companies, she has definitely put the most effort into a training that she's done with my office. And made herself available by email to help with stuff afterwards. The follow-up was really great with her as well.
And was that something that you spoke to her in advance about, of the different things that you had wanted to go over, or did she just take that initiative and say, here, this is based on our communication, what I think would be great for you?
Really, she just took the initiative, and she showed up prepared, kind of just do you want to learn about this? Are you guys going to do this? Are you, the devices offer so many things. It was if you're never going to do this, do you still want to focus on that, or would you rather focus more on, doing something with these things together? So it was very customized, which I thought was awesome. And then being able to reference the online Rohrer platform, kind of to bounce things off of. It's just been wonderful.
That's great. And can you talk a little bit about the support that you've been getting with the company when something ever goes wrong, or you just need to pick up the phone and talk to someone about a product? What's that been like?
I think that I have had Pixel since 2020. I want to say 2020, maybe even 2019. I haven't had a single problem, which has been awesome. The few things that we've had to call about with other devices, I mean, you call a phone number, somebody answers the phone, which is awesome. And they kind of get the ball rolling on, what, the third thing they'll do is kind of problem shoot with you over the phone and say, hey, it might be this. It's been that before. We had like some water hose wasn't connected all the way, right? Like, but we forget these things because you learn them in training and you really never have to touch anything. So simple as 5 minutes on the phone, everything's fixed, continue your day. And then, if something has had to be shipped or, talked about, I mean, they're on it, right? It's nice to have a human on the other end and you're not leaving a message with somebody or sending an email, or nobody wants to, email support@rohrer.com. You want to talk to, we're busy, right? You want to talk to somebody because when your machines aren't working, you're not making money.
Sure.
So they understand that and they kind of make sure that you're attended to and things are handled quickly.
Well, Kelly, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and chat with me about this.
It's been awesome.
If people wanted to learn more about yourself, about Beautiphi, about the Academy, where can they go to find a little bit more?
Our website for our office is beautifiu.com. And if they have information about or want information on training, they can email training@beautifiu.com.